Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my second run of the Lotsa lore LUFENIA, where I'm bringing Garland, Terra, Paladin, Cecil. I think that in the first video you'll see that El Narsh just really made everything super easy, and the bosses really couldn't take a turn because El Narsh locked them out. So I think that if you don't have El Narsh, because I know that a lot of people were not pulling for, it seems like a lot of people weren't pulling for El Narsh, that maybe to do a run with a different team composition, and that way I can maybe show how to take care of the second wave of bosses and what happens when you can't shut down the enemies and they are attacking you, and what you can do, I guess, to help. Here, obviously I'm replacing Kuja. So if you didn't see the last video or my first run, the first video I was using Tifa, Kuja, and El Narsh. Kuja obviously was for the Holy Enchant, to kind of help with the orb on the second wave of bosses. Here, just replacing Kuja for Paladin Cecil, and since I don't have El Narsh and the enemies will be attacking, then I need some type of healer, and that's where Paladin Cecil comes in as well. And just not only that, but the whole defense up, giving your party a huge amount of defense to be able to help just, I guess, resist a lot of these attacks, or negate the damage, better said. And Terra is going to be your damage dealer. I kind of consider her replacing Tifa, and I guess I would say that both Garland and Terra, they're just, I mean, the role is damage dealers. Garland is here to help just delay, really, and also do damage. Obviously he's a really good damage dealer, but in all reality, you definitely don't want the enemies taking a lot of turns. And I am bringing also a Meditilian call, just to be able to delete the enemy turns in case I do see that, then I'm gonna put myself into some trouble, for example. But other than that, obviously there's a lot of videos out there of people completing it with different teams. I thought that the my first run through, I don't know, I just felt like, again, if you didn't have an El Narsh, you're gonna have a hard time, I think, in the second wave, potentially. Again, it's all situational, right? Depends on what you've pulled on, how lucky you've got on your pulls, what you have, what team you can build together and have at your disposal here to help you and your calls and things like that. Jack is gonna help with, if you have Jack, obviously he helps tremendously for everything, right? His insta break. He's going to insta-break enemies, defense down, all that good stuff. So here at this point, there's really nothing to worry about. This first wave of bosses is not too bad at all, and I feel pretty comfortable that with Garland delaying enemies and Terra just taking consecutive turns, it shouldn't be an issue. And yeah, I think I'm gonna save a lot of my calls for the second wave of bosses and my bursts and everything. I don't really think it's really necessary to be using like all of Terra's skills in the first wave and stuff like that. Even if they were to hit you with some HP damage, you can just heal that right up with Paladin Cecil, and then with his defense, all the defense he gives to your party. I mean, there's honestly, I don't think there's anything to really worry about. So that's why here I use dual cast. I almost never use her dual cast. And see here, I mean, I think if you didn't have Paladin Cecil and have used his LD, probably wiped, or at least killed Terra, definitely. So I guess I kind of will go back on that to say that, I mean, I guess there is a little bit of something to worry about. But other than that, yeah, I think that you still can bring definitely other characters like Strago. He's going to kind of replace Garland a bit, just because he can delay, does AoE damage, things like that. And obviously he's going to delay, I think, enemies. I'm not going to say better than Garland, because his LD, once you have the Soul of Thamasa, I think that's what you call it, or something like that, everything everything hits twice, right? So you're double delaying. Or Garland, I think, only has one. So here, starting off, right off the bat, I need to put defense down. I really need to start buffing the party up and debuffing the enemy, because again, it's a damage race. If you recall, the orb is to hit with holy and thunder damage, or elemental damage, to increase the orb count by 1 for each element. I need to get my defenses up. Here, Paladin Cecil's LD is going to heal me, give me obviously the ability, a free ability use, which I'm going to go in and obviously enchant the party, because right now they are not enchanted. I think it went away. So that's why the orbs are counting down. I'm not doing any type of fully elemental damage. So here I enchant the party. They're both at 4 on the orb count, and I definitely don't want them to take turns, or take the least amount of turns possible. These guys can be problematic. So here, once it uses flare, it's gonna have only 2 turns left. So you have to get their HP at 79 or below to remove the orb. Being the fact that right here Garland is hitting both enemies, it's gonna make both orbs go up by 1. Then same thing goes for Terra's LD. Both go up by 1. Remember, the party is enchanted with holy. We're only hitting with 1 element, and so that's why the orbs are only going up, or staying where they're at. Here I need to switch over to the A target, so that way the orb does not trigger, but I get enemy A below 79%, so it makes the orb go away. Here I'm gonna do the same thing with enemy B. As long as since I'm hitting him directly, it's gonna be doing, or the orb is not gonna be decreasing in count. And then from there on out, it's just delaying with Garland, continuously healing with Paladin Cecil if you're getting hit. If you're in a bit of a struggle, I do have the Metatilian call that completely deletes the enemy turns, things like that. So here, I think once you get to this point, I think you're pretty safe, just because you are consistently delaying with Garland. You know, and you're also breaking with Terra after so many turns. Obviously, enemies come out of their break, but Terra will just continuously re-break them, and then keep pushing that turn back. And then Garland comes up, and you're delaying even more. Plus, I have another Garland friend. So, again, not too difficult. Here you do see that enemy B does get the yellow aura, and with that yellow aura, that's where he starts to harden its defense, and all BR8 hits will become 1, and technically will take 0 damage. So now you'll see that they're going to go into their stance. This is something that I didn't let them do in the first run, because Elnarj completely shut them down. And then after they take a turn, the aura dispels, as you see here. So now I can do damage, but now you have to just be careful with them, because they are pretty deadly, you know, in these stands. And everybody's hitting pretty hard, which is why I don't use Jack's Call. I have not used Jack's Call. I do have, I think, Ferris's debuffs, and everybody's hitting pretty hard. So I still have another Ferris Call. I still have Jack. So on top of that, them having holy elemental weakness and enchanting the party, that's why everybody's, you know, continuously hitting hard. And also the other auras that Paladin Cecil provides to the party. And also in the first video, or in the first run that I did, I would also suggest you trying to eliminate one of these bosses instead of trying to eliminate both at the same time. In the first video, I did eliminate both at the same time, but that's, you know, that's because I also had El Narsh locking them completely down. It could be done, I think, but if you want to make this easier for you, like here, the boss B, I triggered his orb, but I'm going to try to target him. And if you notice, I only have to really worry about one orb. I don't have to worry about two orbs. And I know that usually killing one of the two bosses in a LUFENIA fight will all of a sudden have the boss that's left over buff himself, but it doesn't happen in this case. So you're safe to eliminate one boss, and then you can just focus on the second boss. And especially with Garland delaying and things like that, you should be okay. And then you still have your summon, you could always replace Terra with your Garland friend, and now you're double delaying the enemy, things like that. The second enemy that's left over, you should not have an issue dealing with that enemy. Here, I do replace Terra with the Garland friend, just to be able to delay at this double delay, but at the same time provide Garland's auras or burst auras to the party, just to ensure that they keep hitting hard. And then here, because of the sap that and this is where Ferris's call comes in handy. Besides the defense down, they gain BRV, but then with Ferris's debuff or poison debuff, it completely brings that down. And now you're able to break them easier, and once you break them, they come out of that white aura. And the white aura could be fairly dangerous. And just breaking it again removes it. If you do not break them, and I think they have a turn, they will use something called Earth Rush Plus, and it's an AoE BRV HP attack, and I believe they cleanse all of their debuffs, which is not what you want to have them do. And so see, in here this becomes pretty simple, just because again you're only dealing with one orb. If I had to deal with both orbs, I mean, it wouldn't be too bad, because both Garlands, you know, they do hit both enemies. But like I said, just make it easy on yourself. Eliminate one of the bosses, then switch to the other one, take care of the second boss. And yeah, like here, Garland is going to ensure, or the friend unit Garland is going to ensure everybody's hitting hard. He provides, I think, BRV damage up to the party, HP damage up, BRV damage limit. Garland's burst effect is pretty insane. So you see here, I mean, you're hitting for almost 340,000 damage. And I still have the burst from my own Garland, or I can even use Paladin Cecil's, but I mean, here I would go with Garland just because of the delay, multiple delays. Enemies should not have any turn whatsoever. Here, the Flame Vortex really doesn't do anything. I put the debuff on you, but I mean, it's still fine. The only thing that you will notice is that I'm on turn count 56, and the turn limit is 65. So here, it's best to just burst, and now it's definitely a damage race. And with the Garland friend unit, it's going to allow my Garland to maximize all of the damage in his burst phase. And also bursting at this point really pushes, you know, the enemy's turn all the way back. And this is pretty much end of game. I mean, from this point on out, Garland's going to deal so much damage. or he's going to be capping his damage at least. And if I could, I would have. I don't think I had Kurisame's LD at this point. I think he would have been a good call to bring in here to also maximize even more damage. But from here on out, it's pretty smooth sailing. There's really no worries. You'll see that by the time I get out of his burst phase, I don't think you even see the enemy's turn come up. I think maybe once, if that. But here you're doing, 2 mil damage, 1 enemy gone, 8 turns left, and he's at 20%. So we should be completely fine here. And I still have the summon on top of that, so it's considered like having probably like another 10 plus turns, probably more like 15 turns, 16 turns. So yeah, we should be good. There's really no issue here. And with all these delays, the enemy, he doesn't even have a turn coming up at all. So again, this is my second run. Can definitely be done without Elnarsh. I would think everybody pulled for Paladin Cecil. I think most people probably end up pulling for Garland and Terra, or at least hopefully you did. I know some people say that Terra's kit is so boring, and I obviously understand why they would say that, but everybody plays the game differently. Everybody has different ways that they want to play the game, and people don't have the same amount of time other people have. So yep, that's my run here or my second run of the Lotsa Lore LUFENIA mission. Can definitely be done without Elnarsh, and good luck. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about this mission and who you used to complete it. Check the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.